What happens if you spill some coffee on your giant yarn blanket? Let's find out. Hi there, I'm Anya from Peony and Time, and today is the second video in our web series of spilling everything we can think of on giant yarn blankets. So last time was red wine. It went super well. We were really happy with the results, and this time I'm gonna do a big cup of hot coffee. I had to put it in a mug from one of my girlfriends, Liz, over at The Greater Good. This is one of my favorites. Okay, so just like last time, I'm gonna choose a corner of the blanket to spill the coffee on. And then we're just gonna do a spot cleaning. So I'll get paper towels to kind of like mop up the excess liquid. I've got a couple of little kitchen towels on hand as well. And then for all the excess, we're just gonna try rinsing it really gently with a little bit of cold water. Also, I wanted to say beforehand too, this blanket is 100% merino. That's what we're testing, like that's what we're getting results with. So if you are using a giant yarn that is like a blend or acrylic or something, you're gonna be getting different results. So what we're doing today is just with the 100% high quality merino wool. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so this time I'm choosing a different corner of the blanket to do this spilling experiment on. The other corner from last time turned out great, but I wanna make sure that I'm kind of spreading around all of the work and the wear that we're doing on this blanket. So it'll be like kind of even and not end up with one super felted corner because that one got all of the attention. Okay. This time I'm gonna hold it over the sink as I'm pouring it over because last time it went straight through and then pooled on the counter and then ended up getting a lot of the bottom of the blanket dirty. And obviously that's fine, but gosh, it makes a lot of stuff to clean up. So I'm gonna keep it a little more localized this time. Okay, so we're already here and got my hot coffee. I'm not sure, obviously, like we talked about last time, if you have heat and moisture in agitation, it's gonna felt a lot faster. Last time we were just using room temperature wine, so this time we're using hot coffee. I don't know if that might affect, like if it might felt a little bit more. I guess we'll find out. Okay, here we go. Ah, oh gosh. Let's see that one more time, shall we? It just feels really wrong every time. Okay. So there we go. That would be pretty upsetting to see on your blanket. You can see, boy, it is kind of nice doing it over to the sink. We still got it a little bit, like a little spread around on the back here. Yeah, so it looks like it saturated maybe a little more than the wine did. And then we've got some big splashes way up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my paper towels for the initial toweling off. Okay, so if you want to get up kind of close here. So let's just see, got some big splashes here. This stuff doesn't look like it saturated too much. Woo, but that is a dark spot there, my goodness. We'll see. I don't know if this is gonna end up coming out. Okay, and so we'll just, okay, so those ones that are just really superficial there came out quite well. And you can still feel, the coffee definitely still feels a little warm, so I'm trying to be nice and gentle as I'm squeezing out the liquid here. Oh, this poor blanket. Yeah, so here we have more of this kind of more superficial stuff, and it does seem to come out pretty well. Like, that's not bad. All right, how are we looking? Pretty good. I think I missed a couple little spots right here. Man, some of this over here is really a lot darker. I'm wondering if maybe there was just a little bit of like silty sediment type stuff in the bottom of the cup, and maybe that got right here. So I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so initially here, oh, it's a little wet on the bottom here. Okay, so here's the back side. Oh, wow. Oh, that's interesting. So with the red wine, it really went like right through and got the front and the back. But with the coffee here, you can see here's the main area. And then so this is the back side of that area. It really didn't saturate through. It's like the top half really soaked up all of it. So I guess we'll just get, I think these parts were just like splashes from the sink. Wow, so that comes out really well. Let's find another little spot there. So here's one. So that's, I mean, that's nice. Wow, really not much there at all. Okay, cool. All right, and then I'm gonna rinse out the sink here real fast to make sure we're not like dunking in any more coffee. All right, and again, this time I'm just using water instead of using any wool wash. I am planning on using wool wash for my next one, but I didn't get my act together fast enough and to get some ordered in time. So we're just gonna use water, and we're gonna use cold water because again, like last time, if you have heat with the moisture and agitation, it tends to make it felt a whole lot faster. So cold water, rinse, here we come. All right, so we're gonna start over here, really dark, kind of silty. Ooh, okay, not bad. So already this does seem a teeny bit more stubborn than the red wine was. So that's interesting. But mostly with the stuff where it was a little more silty coffee, like maybe at the bottom where a little bit of sediment had kind of settled, the stuff that was the lighter colored areas seem to have washed out a little bit better already. Ooh. We may end up with a coffee colored blanket though. Okay, we're gonna see if that is good. So already this took way longer to rinse out than the red wine did. So, and it's still, it's still a little iffy looking. Okay, so you can see like the wool itself definitely looks a little bit darker when it's wet. So there's definitely some of that going on, but I feel like still, like up through here and especially like right in here, it definitely looks dark, like pretty dark. But who knows? We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna throw away those ones. And then, so I have 2 kitchen towels that I'm gonna use here. One note here too, make sure if you are going to be using towels that they're ones that have been like laundered enough that if they're colored, they're not gonna be bleeding into your wool, because that would be really bad. These are kitchen towels that I've washed a million times, so I am very, very confident that no dye is gonna bleed off onto the blanket. So, okay, I'm gonna lay one of these out on the counter. Then bring this right up here. And then lay this other one on top and squish. I mean, it definitely still looks pretty coffee colored here, so water may not be enough for this one. See, this definitely still looks a little bit coffee colored there. Let's try. But I can feel the wool is also still pretty saturated, so I think there's still hope. We'll see. Okay, double check the back here. Looking pretty good. So that towel is pretty wet. Okay, yeah. The back looks fine there. Other than the fact that this poor blanket is starting to show its age just a little bit. All right, so. Not too bad here. I have a feeling this is, I think that maybe this will have felted a little bit more since we've been handling it so much. Even though I'm trying to be really gentle. But, I mean, all in all, really not too bad considering I just dumped a whole cup of coffee on here. So, what I'm gonna do, and you can see it looks really, it looks like it's really felted, and these are starting to look narrower and ropey here as compared to like that. Can definitely see the difference there. But I do notice that when it dries, it does tend to fluff up a little more. So it hopefully won't stay like that. We'll see though. And if it does, you can always kind of like fluff this out a little bit like that. So that's always an option too. Might even help it dry a little bit faster. So I can definitely still see just a teeny bit. I'm not sure at this point if that's just because it's still a little bit wet or if it did stain. But I feel like it kind of looked about like this at this point in the wine video. So I've still got my fingers crossed. I'm still hopeful. And now I think I'm just gonna put it outside and let it dry off in the sunshine for a while, and then we'll check back in and see. Okay. All right, so it's been maybe an hour and a half since I set this outside to dry. It's still a little bit damp, but we needed to wrap up filming for the day. So yeah, I'm gonna be curious. I'm gonna check back tomorrow and see how it looks. As of now, it's still a little bit damp, and you can still see a little bit of the coffee color. There's a teeny tiny bit of darkening, just like right here where I splashed the coffee, but really really not bad. But I'm wondering, like I said, it's still just a little bit damp right there too. So I'm hoping that maybe once it just completely dries, that it will just go back to normal. And if not, I'm gonna pull out that wool wash when I get it, and then we'll see what happens then. So anyhow, I thought that I was being really gutsy by trying red wine the first time, but I guess, it looks like coffee actually is potentially more of an issue than red wine. So yeah, but on the whole, I'd say that's a pretty decent success, so. All right. Okay, so here's a final update on this blanket. It's been a couple weeks now since I filmed the first part of the footage, so it's had a chance to dry very completely. And you can see here, there is just a little tiny bit of that coffee stain still visible. I don't know if I would really notice it if I didn't know what I was looking for, but since I know what happened, I can definitely see it just a touch here. So I might try that with a little bit of wool wash later when I get some and see if it comes out completely, or else I might just leave it as is because it really isn't too bad. I do notice that it definitely has felted a little bit more than the section that I spilled the red wine on did. I'm guessing this is probably just because it was a tough combo of the hot liquid, so the heat accelerating the felting process, and then the fact that it just did take a lot longer to rinse out, so I was handling this a lot more. So it still looks fine, it still looks great, and it did fluff up pretty well again after it dried, but I can definitely feel like a little bit of a difference like in the softness and fluffiness between the part that got spilled on and the part that didn't. So yeah, but all in all, I mean, really not too bad. Pretty happy with it. All right, so thanks so much for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.